It's a Swahili song that sings, Mungu wangu, we wajua sababu, kwa nini niyapitie haya, Mungu wangu. Hello there, this is Dr. Susan Gitau. This is the month of September, Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. And today I would like to focus on those who die by suicide because they have been rejected by their loved ones or they have fallen out of love. And maybe to recap a little bit, it's important to find out or to know the factors that lead to suicide. Why would somebody think of taking their own lives by suicide? One would be genetic factors. You may find in the history of some families, there have been suicide cases. And it's good that we all understand that in your genealogy, in your family tree, do you have such cases? Know your family tree so that you can be able to be in control of your present. And on the same note, it's also good to find out whether in your family you have had cases of mental illness. And one of the mental illnesses that we really link so much with suicide is depression. Although we do have people who have suffered dementia, generalized anxiety, panic attack, and depression, maybe like bipolar, or people who have other psychiatric conditions, thinking it's too much for them, losing hope, thinking they will never get better, and they end up dying by suicide. So any presence of mental illness is just a factor that you may need to consider because of what I have said, the aspect of losing hope and giving up. We do have other factors like maybe the personality that is prone to suicide. And especially the melancholics who also get easily depressed because maybe something happened, they cannot let go, they ruminate around what happened and they feel like they're moving in a cycle and they get tired and they just want out. We do also have situations whereby people are generally in a family context that does not give room for expression of my needs, expression of my worries, my anxieties. So you may find families also being a very big cause of members of that family thinking about suicide or dying by suicide. And especially where there is no free expression of yourself, the way you think, the way you feel, and maybe your needs, your interests are never taken into consideration. We can also talk about pressure, and pressure can come from all corners. It can come from yourself within you, it can come from your marriage, it can come from your family, it can come from school, it can come from the society. For example, right now in my country, and I think globally, we have very serious economic constraints, and there are people who cannot make ends meet. They find they cannot take care of themselves, they cannot take care of their children, their families. They cannot meet their daily needs, and they don't have a way out. Yeah, and you find certain people who feel enough is enough. Why would I keep suffering the way I'm suffering? Then I think I'm better off ending my own life. So we do have such factors that we can say socioeconomic factors. Sometimes it could be a medical condition. Someone has been diagnosed with a medical condition, especially chronic or complicated, that is very, very expensive to treat. And so somebody just finds that when the doctors especially say you have to live with this disease until you die, until you leave this world. And there are those who cannot take that. They find it's very, very, very hopeless. It's very, very, very strenuous. It's very, very costly. And they feel they're making other people tired or they have become a burden to other people. And so they might think they are better off when they are out of this world. So those are medical conditions. We do have situations like what I'm going to concentrate on right now, where you find that there are people, their culture does not really condemn suicide. And so social cultural factors can also play a role. Or you find there's a trend that killing yourself is not a big thing. And right now there's a big scare. It's looking like it's a very quick solution. It's like a very permanent solution. And so we've lost people who find it so easy to write suicide notes, even post on Facebook. And you think it is scaring people, but other people are finding like it's a trend that is okay to take your own life. But now coming to the one I want to focus on because it's on the rise. Because here we will have cases of homicide. We will have cases of suicide. And in my country, that is also quite common right now. Somebody refuses maybe to be in a relationship, or someone is rejected by their partners in a relationship, and they cannot imagine moving on without that person. They cannot imagine the loss and grief that follows after they have invested so much in that person. Maybe they have invested their money, they have invested their time, they have invested their emotions, they have invested their bodies. You are all there in a relationship. And then this person rejects you, and they have nothing to do with you. And maybe the way they do it is in a very abusive manner, or the way they do it is very unexpected, or even the manner they do it, it is very, very painful and scary. And especially when we're talking about somebody getting married or somebody getting hooked up with a narcissist. And most narcissists fall for people who have a need that needs to be filled. They have a lot of emptiness within. And so these people, because they are so empty in the inside, and then the narcissist comes and they know how to woo you very well at the beginning. It's like they almost are like your angels sent from heaven, because they seem to know what you need. They seem to know what makes you happy. It's like they have all the solutions you've ever looked for in your life. And you're the perfect mate for this guy or for this lady. And so you fall for them and the relationship keeps off. But a time will come when the narcissist will have taken their roots very well. They'll have felt they have captured you, and they can start doing anything, because according to them, you cannot go anywhere. And for you, because all along you have been a very genuine person in that relationship, you don't even imagine such a thing would happen. So even when they start treating you badly, it's like you take it in thinking maybe something very wrong has happened. I want to help him. I want to help her. Maybe things are going to work out. But you try and try and try, and nothing really seems to change. And the worst can happen when they bring in the person they want to love to your own very eyes, or they do the worst that you have never imagined, beating you up, or even bringing that person they want to marry to your own hold. And you're just there thinking, I must be a very, very maybe ugly person. I must be the worst of the people in the world. If this person can do what they have done, if she can do what she has done, if he can do what he has done, it means I am so worthless. I am so devalueless. I'm so valueless. And I feel so devalued. And you can even start having guilt that I'm the one who made this person to do what they did. In a relationship, is two-way traffic. But you start feeling, if this person has done this wrong, this person has been so evil, so unfeeling, it must be my cause. And so at this point, if you cannot manage your guilt, if you cannot manage your rejection, if you don't have healthy coping mechanisms, definitely you start quoting suicide. And so we are seeing those cases in this country today. But who are you? Who are you, the person that cannot stand on their 2 feet when you are rejected by your loved ones? It means inside of you, the first thing to accept is the way the situation is. You've been rejected. That's for a fact. Second, it has bruised you. You feel bitter, you feel bad, you feel the pain. Accept that that has happened. And the next thing you ask yourself, from here to the future, how do I go about it? And that is where you may find walking this journey alone is not easy. And so you may now think of embracing the services of a counselor or a therapist, and they can start working with you. You can join a support group of similar people, or you can do an online course on mental health, coping after being rejected in a relationship. It's also important to do very adequate stock taking or self-inventory. And that is why for me, self-awareness to me is the heartbeat of therapy, is the heartbeat of functionality, it is the heartbeat, of self-control. Because if I am aware, because awareness is like I feel myself right now, this is me. This is me and no one else. This is me, right? I'm aware. I'm aware of my heartbeat. I'm aware of myself, That awareness that I am suffering. And because I'm suffering, I don't want to deny I'm suffering. I accept I am suffering. And the next question, if I ask myself, what do I want? And then I can say, I would want to be relieved of this suffering. I want to be peaceful. I want to know how to move on without this person. I want to love me again if you stopped loving yourself and loved the other person more. I would like to have self-respect. And so you say, next thing, how do I get all that? How do I get my peace? How do I get my self-love? How do I get moving? How do I build myself professionally? How do I accept me unconditionally? Because I have realized others can only accept me with conditions. How can I repair me emotionally? Because rejection creates a very huge, overwhelming emotional damage. And that's where I'm saying if you can't walk alone and you need someone who cannot judge you, you need someone who will be objective with your journey, then you embrace the services of a therapist. It's not bad to have close friends and a confidence that you can tell everything, because when you share about your challenges, when you share about your problem, we normally say a problem shared is a problem half solved. And so talking is great. Even counselors like what we do, we just make you talk. But we make you talk in a professional way, in a logical way. So having come to that, there are people who cannot. There are people who feel, no, I don't think I want to leave this person. And they're basically abusive. You know it, you can tell it, and it's not going to change because for a long time you've tried to change it and it hasn't changed. What is it that is making you get stuck there? And that is where I will deepen the self-awareness perspective. Maybe your personality is that melancholic personality, temperament, that before you fell in love with this person, what happened is that you had analyzed and analyzed and analyzed and thought this is the person. So you put all your investment in that person. It could be you're phlegmatic. And this phlegmatic, you love peace. You're thinking about how many people are going to have disorientation with your marriage or your relationship breaking up. And you're like, oh, so-and-so is going to hurt, oh, my children are going to get hurt, oh, my relatives, oh, you're thinking our friends, And it's only because you're thinking about their peace, not your peace. Look at that. And so the phlegmatics want peace, whatever can bring harmony. And to some scaring extent, some phlegmatics have accepted, especially in marriage, they have accepted their spouses to bring other people in their marriage. If it's a wife, she's allowed by the husband. You can go sleep all over and still come home. I will still receive you. If it's a man, you can go all over wherever you want to go, but I'm yours. And so that self-awareness is very critical. It is not so common with the sanguines, because sanguines sometimes they laugh it off. They're like, we met. You came from your family and me from mine anyway, and we were both adults. And if it's time for you to go, well and good, I'll still get somebody else. Because they're adventurers, they really don't carry baggages, and they easily like keep off grudges and move on. And they don't care so much about probably what they have invested in there. The cholerics as well. The cholerics can just say, it's about goal setting. Person doesn't love me anymore. This person doesn't need me anymore. It's hurting. It's painful. I have to move on. So those two personality temperaments sometimes are easy to make decisions and move on. But for phlegmatics, the peace lovers, the melancholics, the ruminators, they keep ruminating, recycling. I like to say they recycle a lot. Sometimes they can have issues with sticking there. And you can also add other traits like perfectionism. Yeah, people who want things to be perfect. Like I entered this relationship because I wanted a marriage. I wanted children. I wanted this and this. But it's not working out. The truth is that it's not working out. But you're still insisting to be in there. And so the obsessive compulsive disorder traits, it's good to know whether you have them, that you like things to run smoothly, straight line. Everything should be placed where it belongs. Very, very important that you know of these facts. Because if you know of these facts, then you can be able to just sign up and say, I guess this one, I really need to move on. This one, no matter how painful, how shameful it is, I need to move on. The other thing I could say is that if you have a history of rejection, and you did not know how to handle rejection, how to love yourself, and then you keep hopping from one relationship to another, you still find yourself in relationships that are very damaging, very toxic, then it's time to put a stop. So I'm speaking to you who could be watching me. You have toyed the idea of suicide. You have started thinking about taking your own life. You started being helpless and hopeless in a relationship. But at this particular moment, you are learning. You have been in this. It has not been good. So that we don't lose you like the ones we've lost before, you can just make very tough decisions, like setting very clear boundaries. How do I want to be treated? If I treat you nicely, if I treat you well, do I expect the same way? What about when I feel I'm doing too much for the other person? Do I have moments of putting boundaries? Do I have moments of shielding myself? Because again, that is very critical. Can I shield me? Can I shield myself? Very, very important. Very, very critical. Boundaries. Can I also share what I'm going through? And especially with someone who will not judge me. Very non-judgmental, objective professionals like counselors, life coaches. And if the worst goes to the worst and you feel like you're losing your mind, you're not in a good space, you don't feel normal, you don't feel functional, it is still okay to seek the services of a psychiatrist so that you don't end up losing your mind totally because of being rejected by someone that you loved, by someone you invested in, by someone who never saw your trust as worthy. Do you have a moment to say, a luta continua? Do you want to go on? There are also people who have grown up in families where they never experienced what I would say functional love, because I don't want to talk about true love because there's really nothing like true love, but maybe functional in the sense you feel the warmth of the family, you feel the warmth of your parents, you have that validation from home, that validation from your mom, from your dad, from your sisters, from your brothers, the very close people to you. Because very many people who don't experience this validation from significant others, when they hook up with other people out there in the society, they end up gluing themselves to these people. They are glued to them, irrespective of the treatment, irrespective of disrespect, irrespective of the abuse. They are staying there because they don't know any other way. And this goes to all the parents. Love your children. Show them affection. Show them what we call secure attachment. Let them trust you so that they can learn to trust the world. Otherwise, very many people, if you follow, who have been able to allow and tolerate abuse, they have very disturbing and very distorted childhood, where there could be neglectful parenting, there could be anxious, neurotic parenting, there could be situations of abuse in that family. And so when they find someone who seems like to validate them, they think this is heaven on earth, only for them to realize these people also are loathing them day in, day out. We also have dependents or dependent personalities, that there is no single decision that you can make on your own. And these people are basically very good candidates and victims of narcissists, because narcissists would like you to need them so that they can just come and fit in, pop. And once they fit in, pop, it is very difficult for you to get out. And so this kind of sensitization is very important, that parents love your children. Let them know they are loved. Let them know they are valued. Teachers do the same. And especially when you get children from very vulnerable backgrounds, let them know they are valued. Let them know they are loved. Honestly speaking, it's very hard. You find a child who is brought up in a fairly affectionate, secure family environment becoming a candidate of abuse, unless there are other factors that surround that, because when you know you're functional, you are a person who is aware, you are in control of your own space without being conceited, it's very hard that you allow another person to abuse you. I always tell people, if you've been rejected, it's becoming so difficult to move on. There's always a starting point. And it's up to you to decide, do you want to move on? Do you want to love you? Do you want to experience the joy of self-love? Do you want to experience the joy of healthy relationships, interpersonal relationships? It will begin by you repairing any damage within yourself. It will require you to heal and bounce back to life. It will require you to set boundaries. It will require you to look at that experience of rejection as a very beautiful learning moment, like no other you've ever had in life. It's a moment of becoming deeply self-aware. It's a moment of deeply becoming aware of other people. It's a moment of setting boundaries. It's a moment of saying no to all forms of abuse, including you abusing yourself by accepting to be abused. Set boundaries for yourself. Like I would say, set boundaries for Susan. Whether they are psychological boundaries, they are physical boundaries, they are emotional boundaries, they are sexual boundaries, set them. But you can never set them if you don't know what you want and what you're made of. So that when you come to forming an interdependent relationship, then you know. Because it's a give and take. And most people who really hurt after being rejected is because it was a one-way relationship. If you look at it very critically, it was a one-way relationship. And if the other person ever did something good to you, probably you're the one who pushed for it. It's not them. And it's so beautiful to pain from love, heal from love, bounce back, and love again. So beautiful. Like you don't want to hurt anyone, and you don't want to be hurt. Then you have grown, you become resilient. You have become tender, you have become affectionate, you have become compassionate because you have known suffering of rejection. And as I come to the close of this, most people who will die by suicide because they have been rejected in relationships suffer from shame. And shame makes you feel like you are the worst thing that ever happened. I want to tell you, you're the most beautiful being that God saw being created in your image, the way you are, the who you are. There's no other like you. That uniqueness in you should be celebrated. Begin by celebrating it today. Just know you can never know the meaning of genuine love if you haven't sometimes been hurt, or if you have never experienced what that is. And so you know. So genuine love has trust, has affection, has compassion, has support. Does yours have? And so that you don't fall victim tomorrow, I'm reminding you, set your boundaries correct. It's beautiful to heal from the pain of love and love again. You don't have to die. If you die, you'll miss the experience of loving again. You will miss the experience of even loving yourself. Because if you love yourself, if you care about yourself, you can't take your own life. You will love you. And even if there is no one to love you, you will be very satisfied and contented with yourself. And there are many people who need your love. Love is not just what we call the sexual love. It's not just the romantic love. It is not just the one-time touch or the one-night stand kind of love in quotes. True love, if I want to say, is living a meaningful life for yourself and taking yourself out there to make other people live meaningful lives. And the joy, the satisfaction, the peace, the calmness, the excitement that you will experience is like no other. And so I can invite you to think about adding value to another person. When you're still hurting, go out of your way, do some charity work out there, touch another life, and see what the Lord can do. And because some of you have been asking, how do I let go of that pain? It seems not to go away. I dream about it the whole night. I dream about it the whole day. I keep thinking about it. How do I let go? Those are the thoughts I'm saying. They are ruminating. And their antidote, their injection, their medicine is mindfulness. And if you want to know that mindfulness helps, it does help, especially in dealing with denial. And so you will not run away from your thoughts that are very painful. You can just allow them to sweep through your being as they go away. Don't run away. Like all of a sudden you could be going through your own life, your daily routine, and then a trigger just happens. And the whole day your mood is disturbed, or the whole night you cannot sleep. And you wake up the first thing, don't run away. You can try to journal what the experience was all about. You can try to ask, how did it affect me mentally? How did it affect me emotionally? And how is it affecting me physically? How is it affecting my behavior? And you can look at all the spheres, aspects of your life, even spiritually, for those who are spiritual in their walk of life. How is it making me feeling less of a worthy person? How is it lowering my self-esteem? How is it devaluing me? And even as you allow your pain to sweep through your being, you'll be so shocked that courage to allow the pain, to mark it where it could be in your body, and to tell it, I'm not afraid of you. My heart pains, but I'm not afraid. With time, the painful emotion becomes your friend. And how do you treat a friend? You don't run away from a friend. But as you keep your friends side by side, you get used to them. You can tell them anything. You can tell them everything. And that is how, like, great musicians have made very touching songs. There is a song that I love. Maybe for those who come outside Africa, I can only explain the meaning of this song, but I love it so much. It's a Swahili song that sings, Mungu wangu, we wajua sababu, kwa nini niyapitie haya? Mungu wangu, we wajua sababu, kwa nini niyapitie haya? This basically means, my God, that is the higher being, the higher power. You know why I'm going through this. Meaning I may not have an answer right now. I may never even have an answer why I'm going through the suffering I'm going through. But there is a higher supreme being that knows why I'm going through what I'm going through. Basically, that throws you to finding meaning in life. Making meaning out of a meaningless situation. Because most people who have suffered rejection, especially by their own loved ones, their lovers, their spouses, sometimes they don't see why they had to be treated so badly. And that's why I'm telling you, if you become mindful, just allow the awareness to be. Don't deny it, don't go away, but just explore it, analyze it, and allow it to stay within. It will melt away with time. And you will find you hold no grudge against anyone. You'll find that life is full of abundance of so many things. You will be so shocked. But don't seek for answers right now, but allow the pain to melt away. And you will love better when you first love yourself. You will be there for the people in a very good way if you're also there for yourself. So don't die by suicide because you've been rejected. Start loving you. Start appreciating you. Start a family. And when you take it further, we talk of self-compassion. And self-compassion is basically turning inward and building the inner you, the strongest being that you can ever have on earth. Most people who've left legacies in this world have the bigger inner them that sees through many things that make human beings suffer. Choose to be one today who is going to be transformed by your pain to transform self and other people and generations to come. Because this world still needs people who can love genuinely. This world still needs people who can be sincere with one another. This world still needs people who are full of compassion. And that could be you if you don't take your own life. Love is beautiful. Love yourself. Let's prevent suicide. Let's become self-aware. Let us save the world. Let us spread compassion. I have been your one and only Dr. Susan Gitau. God bless you. I would like you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Susan Gitau, where you will access mental health tips every week, every month, every year. Thank you.